Hello, and thank you so much for joining us today on another episode of our Cheyenne and Arapaho Productions podcast. My name is Darren Brown. I'm the senior content producer here at Cheyenne and Arapaho Productions. We're coming to you from the Concho Mediaplex here in Concho, America. And this program, this podcast, we talk about all the cool stuff that the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes are doing. In case you didn't know, now we're gonna get you hip to what's happening, and then there's just a lot of great info that we want to put out there, in case you were curious, and there's a lot of you who just did not know stuff was happening, and we're not limiting it to Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes. Hey, you're all welcome to listen. We want everybody to come to the table and check us out, and we'll eventually expand it to other tribes and stuff. But I'm so happy that these guys from the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes fire management and prevention programs are here. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, would gentlemen start here and come down the table and give me your names and your titles, what you do there.
Okay, yeah. So my name's Ralston Moore. I'm the fire prevention specialist technician for the fire management program.
All right.
I'm Sam Youngbull, and I'm the fuels foreman.
I'm Arlan Spottedwolf. I'm the fire operations specialist.
All right. Again, thanks for joining us here. I think the first question I want to ask, and I want to throw it at Sam here. Sam, I think most people have an idea of what you guys do, but they probably know like me about this much of it. Would you give us kind of an overview and what you do more than prescribed burns? There's a lot of stuff. Tell us how it helps and benefits the tribes.
Well, it's reintroducing fire back into the landscape of our traditional lands, and each one of us, we're a branch within the program. Mr. Moore is the prevention specialist, which is the outreach, Smoky Bear, and the good fire, as you would say. And then myself, I'm the fuels. I go and we do mechanical treatments, prescribed burn, pile burns, and we're making a fire-adapted landscape. We are creating fire breaks, and we're eradicating all the invasive species that have overgrown pretty much 90% of our lands. And we also do that through our trust lands and through the RTRL lands, which are the reserve treaty rights lands, or fee lands, as you would say. And that's where Mr. Spottedwolf, his new position, is coming from.
So there's just a lot of stuff involved.
Yeah.
And like I said, we only, most of us only see a little bit. I know a few years ago I was out, I think it was in Canton, near Canton Lake, and when you guys were doing a prescribed burn, and I got up close and personal. It was nice and warm. Mm-hmm. I guess on a cold day, it's nice to be able to get there, get close to it. But I know that when you talk about reintroducing fire, I remember who I spoke, I think it was someone else in the program. I can't remember who it was now. We spoke about fire and how Native people have been using this method for, centuries, I suppose.
Yes.
To what's the word? To
replenish food.
Thank you.
Replenish.
Buffalo. Yeah. Well, yes. Okay. Mr. Spottedwolf.
Yes.
Arlan.
Yes.
Thank you. Step in and talk about that.
Yes, we've used it in past history to burn off old vegetation so that new plants will grow. So buffalo would come back through the next year or so and eat, and used it to, chase buffalo off to help feed the families, whatnot. But yeah, so we've used it a long time now, for centuries.
Yeah, and it's something. So it's to some of us, what a novel concept. But no, it's just I think a lot of what happens here at the tribes is about. And I don't mean to sound corny or anything. I know you guys know, but it's like, it's about using the old ways to. Let's just be honest. Those were the best ways.
Yes.
And so it's nothing that's new or really novel. It's just being aware, and using the best way to do something. When Sam, you talked about vegetation and invasive species, and you said that 90%? What did you say?
There hasn't been fire. There hasn't been fire within our lands in a long time, and which is the explosion of the eastern red cedar, which is predominantly the cause of a lot of the wildfires because it's like gas accompanied with all the other fuels. And we'll just go and eradicate them, mulch them down, burn them, and then we'll try to get the native grasses to that's stuck underneath it to start regenerating again. And then once we put it on our burn rotation, it'll start turning into green grass and, to eliminate anything hazardous.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I you guys probably know I used to work in TV news, and I've covered a lot of grass fires.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you that it's not as much fun covering it from the ground because you can only get so close, and they don't want you to get up close. And I understand that, but we don't want to get close. We want to get that sound that. We want to get that crackle, but I've come close to burning the microphone on my camera before, because here you get real close, and but I do I have in a number of times covered a grass fire from the air, and I know that, and I still watch TV, when there's grass fires and it's in the news. I still watch these days, and it amazes me that the things that we were talking about 10, 12 years ago, they still talk about it. It's funny that people, if you've never seen a red cedar go up, I guess you are blown away by how quickly it happens.
Yeah.
It's, it just, almost like a fully grown tree the whole thing is, the green is all burned off in a matter of just seconds.
Yeah.
And it goes up, and it is, I'll just say it's kind of cool to see, but you think about what kind of damage if that was near someone's, any kind of structure or any kind of home. But I'm amazed there's still reporters will say, "Oh my gosh, look!" I'm like, well, it's been happening for years. And I remember speaking with legislators at the state capitol, trying to figure out a way to use the eastern red cedar or use the lumber. I don't remember, but there was all kind of stuff happening because it is such an invasive species. What are the most invasive species that you deal with here as a program? Name it, huh?
Yeah.
Where do you start?
Predominantly the cedars, and then the elm and hackberry, sumac. It's important to keep fire introduced into the environment, because if you was to mulch it down and then leave it, you're just
just as bad.
Yeah, you're reseeding the plot basically. So once you mulch it and then you burn it, that eliminates it. When you get a hot enough fire to go through there and kill off the roots and the sprouts, that's what our goal is.
And talking with fuels, he said that's what you do a lot of, right?
Yeah, mechanical treatments, hand thinning, burning. Like we could have an initial burn before the treatment to open it up, because there's a lot of places that are overgrown, and just at a quick glance, you don't notice that. But when you have I'll go ahead, Arlan.
The fires up there by Ceiling a couple of years ago, that's a prime example of all this overgrowth of these cedars, how wildfire can get and take off. That's what we're trying to do, prevent wildfire from getting to our lands and whatnot. So
yeah, and I know just before we came on, we were talking about I said, in my opinion, there's no such thing as a controlled burn in Oklahoma. That's why I prefer to call them prescribed burns.
Yes.
And granted, I know it's either way, and people always say controlled. I'm like, well, with the winds we have here in Oklahoma, I'm assuming it's really hard to control.
Yes.
With any amount of
all our training, yes,
confidence.
We have to be aware of weather all the time, watching the front come through, and these burns are taking plans and days ahead or years ahead, making sure that we have everybody in the spot. Or we don't want to get in the way out of bounds either. So
because it happens quickly.
Yeah.
Anyone who lives here knows about the winds. Well, I don't want to leave out my prevention guy over here. Ralston, thank you so much. Thank you. That's what happens when I don't speak with Ralston. You're on the prevention side. Tell me what does that mean? Where do you start? What's your focus, sir?
It's mainly outreach, going out there, putting out the word about preventing fires, preventing the things that cause all these wildfires, and really reaching in the communities and trying to get just spread the word, really. It's
And a lot of that is not
Yeah.
having high grass around
Yeah.
your house, right?
So yeah, it's a lot of things that they're talking about, fuel reduction and stuff, and we're going out there, trying to go to these events, trying to go to schools, trying to go to meetings. I do a lot of work with Blaine County. That's one of our primary areas, because that's where a lot of our trust is based, in Blaine
Okay.
County. And so, we're in tune with them, all the fire departments there. I go to the meetings pretty much almost every month.
When you mentioned that, you mentioned fire department meetings. I suppose that you have to. I mean, you have to have a good working relationship with every fire department around, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to work with them, because in the past there's been a little bit of tension between them, because I think a lot of it was they get us mixed up with the BIA, and because we're our own tribal program, and then there's the BIA that has their own fire department, or their own fire people. So it's like
I can see how it would be confusing for someone who's not necessarily in the know.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to forgive a little bit about that. Do you find when you go to these meetings and you have all this community outreach, do you find that people already have a good idea, or is there some stuff that they say, I never thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time it's like they already kind of know what we're capable of doing, and then they come to us a lot and say, hey, what do you think about this, or what do you think about that, or should we do this?
Wow, that's the goal right there, right?
And
you want to plant that seed, plant the prevention seed, so that they say, well, let me go ask someone who actually knows.
Yeah, and and that's how it is. Even when we show up to these fires that pop off, they're glad to see us there, or they even call us at times about, hey, can you come help us? We need your help, or because a lot of times they're not going to get too far away from their trucks, but then us, we'll get out of the trucks and go hike and go see what's really the problem, what needs to be done to reduce that fire.
Well, I know that we have other representatives of your program who couldn't make it today for other reasons. So, Sam, would you let us know who else is in your program?
We have Jeffrey Elizondo. He's our FMO, which is a fire management officer.
Thank you for explaining those abbreviations.
That's
those acronyms.
He's at the top, and then we have Philip Dahl, which is the AFMO. He's the assistant fire management officer, and then we have Miss Cheryl Candy, who is the office manager. Even though she's the office manager, she's still red carded to come out and fight fires, and she'll still come and burn and work the chainsaw and everything else too.
Oh, well, explain what red card is.
A red card is you have to take the prerequisite classes, which are introductory classes to wildland fire and fuels and medical and field work. Once you take those classes, you have to take a physical, which is a pretty arduous physical.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I want you guys to be in shape when you go out and do this.
I mean, we don't got to be He-Man, but I mean,
No, we don't. Nobody go out there and play hero. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I want you guys at the top of your game when you do it. Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of tests you go through to become red carded, but the last test is a pack test, which is a 45-pound pack, and you walk 3 miles in 45 minutes, and that's just the kind of base of. Because once you leave Oklahoma, you're going to hit the mountains.
That's where I was going with. I know that, and I apologize. The program has been around for how long?
Since 1988.
88.
Yes.
Oh, really?
But
I was kind of there at the beginning. In the beginning, we used to take out 20-man crews, and we'd go all over from California.
I didn't know the program had been around that long. I apologize.
And it's evolved into engine crews now. So it's mainly since COVID, we don't take out 20-man crews.
Okay.
So now it's mostly engine crews.
I know that in the past, I mean, I guess the recent past that I'm thinking about, this program has sent people to help with fires in other states, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what our suppression side, that's one of the biggest branches that form along with us. Suppression is like what we do when people see us driving around. Like, we're not just driving around to drive around, We're patrolling. And luckily, we've been at the right spot at the right time, on the bad high fire days. But suppression is we'll mobilize a crew, engine crew, or a 10-man crew module, and we'll go out and will initial attack on high fire danger days. And when fire season gets ramped up going, either this month or next month out west, and then they'll start resourcing crews from out of state, and that's where, if we have the capability to do it, we can go. And that's where we have the people that come from rookie school. There'll be ADs, what are called administratively determined employees, which are kind of on call. So once a big fire and resource order happens, that's what we'll call them. And then out of us, whoever wants to go, if we're available or if we have different things that we're doing.
So when so if there's like a situation where, let's say, northern Oklahoma, whatever, northeast, northwest, whatever, where they need help, what kind of resources and manpower do we have here at the tribes that we can send?
We have us within the program, and then the equipment that we have, we can up and go whenever we.
But I mean, I have numbers. I'm just curious.
Engine.
You said on call or something.
Probably. Well, depending after this upcoming rookie school, it depends how many people will finish out. But right now we have about 10, including us.
Okay.
And then about 5 ADs.
What'd you say?
ADs.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, every program I come on with, they throw these acronyms, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you're going to tell me that again.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's see, like, again, I'm so glad you guys are on, because there's so much involved in this. Man, I don't even know where to go. Let's
Arlan. Yes.
Arlan, your position. I thought you said it was something new for you, right?
Yes.
So you stepped into.
Yes.
And I didn't catch all. Like I said, as we were talking before, I need you to explain a little bit more, kind of about. Man, this may be difficult, but we got to get into. There's trust land, and then there's people. There's not really a thing as people say, oh, that's just Indian land. Well, there's. Under that, there are a number of things. Can you walk us through that?
Yes. RTL, RL lands, reserved treaty rights lands are lands that were purchased by the tribes. So they're not in trust under BIA. I believe they won't be in trust.
They're on the way to trust.
See, there's a lot involved here.
Yes. So, but we have the right to go there and burn or work the land or try to assist. Right now, we're doing the project up in Sand Creek, so we're trying to assist the Park Service with fire and fuels to take care of the land up there. At present, I believe there's a what's it called, tumbleweed.
Oh yeah, I've been up there.
Yes. So
yeah.
We're going to try to help mitigate that and try to reduce the numbers there.
Now that's a big operation, because that's a large area, and I know it's been some years since I've been there to the Sand Creek site, but I know that's a National Park Service, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we're making contacts, and we're making what is that contacts. Relations,
co-op agreements.
Oh, yes, like an MOU type thing.
Yeah, so we're starting that up, and then as far as it relates to fire, we're reducing fuel and making sure that nothing.
Wow,
gets
that in itself, that's a large chunk of time. That's a big commitment. But I'm glad that you guys are doing that, because
we're employing tribal members.
Sand Creek is a story that's. It's integral to these tribes and where they came from, and it's something that every tribal citizen needs to not only be aware of, but know the background and the history and where we are now here as a tribe. So how long has that been going on?
We just started this year, so the wheels are rolling. We're just made it all our meetings. Talked with the Park Service. They're liaisons for Native Americans, so BIA was in on it. So they have a lot of money for us to get there. We're just making the progress right now. So,
well, when you go up there and do your thing, make sure you leave some guys back here to take care of us.
No doubt.
We don't want all y'all leaving at one time. Okay. Well, I know one other thing that we spoke about before we launched into the podcast today was we talked about the lands where the tribes has our buffalo herd, and talked about I'd spoken. I every time I see Randy Hawk, who was the director of the Buffalo program, I got to chat him up, man. I just think I mean, I'm not a rancher dude. Look, I mean, you can tell by looking at me, right? No, but I mean, like, what a great job. I mean, what a cool job that is. I would think to be around the herd all day, every day, and just I don't know. I just when I'm out there, it's a cool feeling that I think. For those of you who don't go to work every day and see buffalo, you're missing out, man. I don't know how else to say that. It's a cool thing. But when we talk about that land, it appears to me as just an outsider who's someone who's not in the know. It seems to me that that's a large herd for such a, in my opinion, in my, what do I know? It looks like a large hunk of land as you drive by, but if you see it from the air, and we've been lucky enough to have our drone up looking at it here and there, it's not as large as you might think it is. And I know that you guys, every time I drive by, I think, man, that land, those grasses probably need to be rehabbed and stuff. And I know that you've done some work out there. So you guys want to talk about that?
Yeah, like I stated earlier, we burned it in 2021. But like it's just too large of a herd for the grass to regenerate, because once it starts growing up,
they're gonna and you can only keep them pinned up in a certain area for so long.
Yeah, so that was one of our goals too, is to return our lands to the native grasses and get the more how would you say it, sought after grasses that they would want.
The more beneficial for the animals.
Yeah, for them, and then also to create a defensible area. So if a wildfire does happen, it's already been burned and maintained, and it's not going to take off.
It's not going to, it's not going to. You're starting with a level of already starting with a level of control that you have, not coming in totally blind with it, right?
Yeah, and then also we go and help with the Buffalo crew, like if they need tagging, vaccinations, anything, we work hand in hand with them, because we also have a resource management plan within our program, and that includes burning on all of our ag lands and everything within our jurisdiction.
So where are we right now? I mean, are you guys, when you talk about those lands, do you guys on a schedule with it?
Yeah, we have a lot of plots that are on a rotation. They go on a 3-year rotation or sometimes a 2-year. And right now we're hitting the plots that we did in 2021. But it's kind of hard with the green up, and then the weather. Some of the plots are weather dependent, so we have to have a certain wind. And, and then juggling high fire danger days within that too.
And then rut season.
Yeah.
And all that. There's all that happening, man. There's a lot going on. Oh, I want to touch on prevention again. I'm jumping all over the place, and I apologize. I just like every time I hear something, I go, "Oh, let's talk about that. Let's talk about," because, like I said, there's so much that each program here at the tribes do that people, I think, need to know, and because they need to know, first of all, who to call. Hey, who are you going to call? Hey, the fire busters. So I think when you talk about prevention, how wide are we talking? Do you hit in all 9-10 counties, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Try to
just you by yourself?
Most of the time, yeah, it's me by myself.
That's a lot of driving, brother.
Yeah, these guys will come along from time to time when I need help with events and stuff. But it's a lot of road miles.
When you talked about meeting stuff, but do you hit schools, or do you hit mainly tribal events? On how does this work?
Try to hit more of like the tribal events, the parades.
We had spring fling yesterday.
Yeah, spring fling. Little stuff like that where
basically
you
anything where the tribe's involved, you guys are going to be there.
Yeah, we try to be as involved as much as we can. Try to hit the schools. We hit a lot of the daycares because all the little kids want to see Smokey. And
that's what I'm asking. Yeah.
So we go and
How often do you guys wash that suit? Hey.
It probably needs to be clean.
Do you dry clean that bad boy?
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to keep the natural smell with it.
Smell like red cedar. Red cedar. I'm not gonna go there.
But yeah, it's a lot of that, and then I had the opportunity this summer to actually work with a national prevention team. So doing my job on a bigger scale. And I got sent down to Texas and worked with the team based out of Florida. And then in return, they liked what I did and how I came into their little team and just meshed with them. And now, like, I'm almost like a part of them now.
Oh, how cool is that?
Team. And
how
then
cool
I made
is that?
and then I made it known that they were kind of like, oh, you're BIA too, and I was like, no, I'm with the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes. I was like, we have our own program. So in a way, it's kind of making the tribes look good too, because there's somebody out there like on a national scale.
Well, let me just say again, ho! So you guys are making this happen, because I say it all the time, but I love doing this and hosting this podcast because I learn so much, and I can't tell you how often that I've met. I mean, talk with at least other people here at the tribes, but other people outside who, and I'll mention what I'm doing. They're like, "Oh wait, I didn't know you guys did that." I'm like, "Hey, shoot, yeah! This tribe's got this program and this program." I just love the fact that we here in the education department where we are, we talk with our people, and Carrie Whitlow, our director, she goes to so many conferences. Well, she talks up every program here in our department, and then the same thing is like, and then it works out that way. So when you guys are, if a Cheyenne and Arapaho, what I mean is, like, I think each program, the success of each program here only helps out every other program that we're trying to work on here. And if people know that one particular program is affiliated with the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes, now they're more what's the word? They're more friendly to the next Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes program they run into, right?
Yeah.
And so you can't buy that type of PR, man.
Another thing to add is that our program here, we have 3 prevention specialists. Myself, I handed it off to Ralston, and then Philip handed it off to me. So we're one of the only programs that have multiple prevention people. And just like he said, we'll come and help him whenever, he's not available, or we have multiple events that we've been requested to. We can all go and give that same message that he's given.
You mentioned earlier that the program had been around since '88.
Yes.
In which I did not know that. Well, what kind of changes have now? I know you guys weren't around, and you weren't on that in '88, or unless were you? I don't know. But I since I've been here, the 12 years, it appears to me that so many tribes do so much more, and they're so much more visible. You can thank us for that. No, I'm kidding. No, we want to put cameras on everybody. We want to put cameras on everybody's face. I was telling somebody the days since we've been here for 12 years now, and they were asking what the biggest things that we noticed, and I said, when we first came here, people, and I'll be honest, I'm not a tribal member. I'm enrolled in another tribe. That's okay.
Same. I'm same.
Okay. I tell people I'm actually enrolled in a pueblo, my Cochiti in New Mexico, and I'm part Choctaw, but I'm also part Caucasian. I'm Caucasian. Hey, hey. That always gets a good laugh. I love it. That's not mine. It's given to me by a friend. No, but the deal is, I forget where I was going with this. No, I tell them that when we first got here, we weren't, we didn't have any tribal members working here. And we went to all these tribal events, and we stuck cameras in people's faces, and they were like, who the heck are these guys? And why do we want to talk to them? And why are they sticking cameras in my face? And now, almost 12 years later, we have kids that are here who are like 12, 10 years old. And to them, we've been around the entire time. For their entire lives, there's been a little TV station here. And for them, it's very normal for us to go around sticking cameras in people's faces. And when there's an event, a tribal event, and we don't show up, people are like, hey, where's our TV guys?
Yes, love that.
So, and I tell them, well, we were late that day. We'll be there. We were at ending time. Hey. So, things like that, I think it's what I've noticed is that our tribal folks here, they love seeing their families and the people they know doing what they do. And they love seeing us promote that. And because our mission here is to promote and preserve. And so what you guys do and what every program here does is our job is to, show people that this is what's happening. In case you didn't know, there's some cool stuff happening out here.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are probably, what's new with the program? What are things that you're doing now that just weren't happening like 15, 20 years ago?
Like I said, I started when I was 18 when the program kind of started.
18,
yeah.
hey.
So I did it for a while. Like I said, back then was a lot of hand crews going out nationally, and we didn't do we did some prescribed burning here on our own land, but it was mainly being dispatched out and getting people jobs and whatnot. But then, it came back. I stopped for a while. They came back. Now it's mostly hand crews. Due to COVID, they didn't do no more 20-man crews, so now it's much more engines and backburns, and they got a lot of new technologies that they use out there to use to backburn and whatnot. When we just had lighters, whatnot,
lighters,
no sticks, no
little bic, flick your bic, hey.
But it still works though. But yeah,
matches.
And then now we're managing our own lands through fire, through fields.
See, that's what I love to see, and because every time I've spoken with one of you guys, it's like you talk about we're managing our lands. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take care of what the tribes own, and we're going to in the best way we know how, which is going back to the old ways, right?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And that you can't discount how important how true that is, right?
Yes. Would like to see our youngsters. I mean, his father was a firefighter, so that's what he did. And a lot of our tribal members were firefighters. So from them, now we're doing prevention and all this other new type of taking care of our land. So it's going away. I mean, going through generation to generation. So. Mm-hmm.
One thing, Sam, you mentioned, and I thought about it. I told you I'm jumping around, man. But you mentioned the training. You guys talk about who wants to talk about the training, and I think people need to know and should know that you guys didn't just like sign a piece of paper and then start putting out. They gave you some matches.
Yeah.
I mean, there's training involved here, and they need to know that you're professionals. So who wants to talk about that?
There's a lot of training. Like I said, the rookie school is the introduction into what wildland fire is. And then from that, there's higher level classes of those same prerequisite classes. And depending on what you want to go, if you want to be an incident command leader, there's certain classes you take for that. And even for my field, prescribed burning, there's a lot of classes you take for that. And it's like we said, it's not just giving you a match and lighting, the grass on fire. You need to know where the wind's coming.
Come on.
Yes,
preach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And different fuels. There's a lot of classes with that. And even prevention.
There's a lot of prevention classes too that I've been trying to go to and that I have been to as well. So it's all like which direction you go through a fire, whether it's prevention, whether it's suppression, whether it's fuels. There's a ton of training that goes involved. And then each training you're just progressing up.
Yeah. If you're not learning something every day, man, you're falling behind.
Yeah. May coming up in May, we're all getting ready to go to trainings just to get ready for this upcoming fire season.
Yeah, a lot of it deals with safety too. We're all CPR certified, and then they have MIT training, which is medical incident training, I believe. So when you're on the fire line, you have the tools to help them for that short period until your emergency resources can come, whether it's helicopter or even making a makeshift, a gurney, like a makeshift gurney to carry them out. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with the trainings,
Are you all aware of how many other tribes have something like this in Oklahoma?
We're one of the few. A lot of tribes that come here and they look at what we have and model off it, and we're tribally self-sufficient. Like the tribe bought all of our equipment, all of our trucks, our PPE, everything.
Personal
protective equipment. Yeah. Yeah, the tribe bought that for all of us.
And maybe is it Nomex?
Yeah.
See, I remember that from my days. Why is it always yellow and green? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
It's like, but the yellow and green shirts that you guys wear when you're out. I mentioned you guys know I used to work in TV news, and when I worked in Albuquerque back in around, I was there from '99 to '01, I think. I was working in the NBC station there in Albuquerque, and that was during when the Cerro Grande fire happened. Basically burned down the town of Los Alamos. And I was talking about, it was very eerie. When we drove up there, we drove into Los Alamos. Everyone else was leaving. The only people who were going on were news crews and the National Guard. And we were there. I was there for about 5. I don't know. I don't remember. It all runs together. And I think that TV station, we were on the air live on that fire for like at least 2.5 days straight. And I think I was there for a total of 5 days. And I remember, and we couldn't get anywhere close. And if you drive around that town, you might find yourself accidentally closer than you wanted to be.
Yeah.
But I know that at one point they sent us, well, if you go over here, you get a good look at the fire. And so but they gave us a bunch of Nomex, the big yellow shirts, and I think I got a XXX, and I said, I got this. I need a rope like Jethro to hold in my pants, man. But it's that dry, and then they made us wear hard hats, and it just drives home, the importance of the stuff, but you say that it's how great is it that the tribe is able to fund a program like this that's beneficial to not just people in Concho, but people, the entire tribes all over our entire service area.
It's very beneficial, and I'm grateful that the tribe was able to do that for the program here. And it's been around since '88, but since 2021, the roots are deeper.
Yeah.
And, there's a stronger leadership to it.
Yeah.
And, from that, we branched out into what we are today, the suppression, fuels, and prevention. And I know a lot of people won't, like we say, they won't recognize what we do until, they finally, maybe they watch this and realize, they put the pieces together. Yeah. And, I'm really thankful for that.
I just love the fact that you said that, and we don't have numbers, that's fine, but you said that we're one of the few tribes here in Oklahoma, but I love the fact that you guys are working and with other tribes, and it's not like we're trying to show off and show you, but it's like I said, that the success of when you talk about tribes, man, the success of one only helps us. We got to help each other up, and I think if there's another tribe who is working towards this goal, I think they can't do wrong by having looking at what happens here with this tribe.
Yeah, we all have the same goal, and it's just a lot of tribes are a few steps ahead of other tribes.
Yeah, exactly.
And
some are some a little behind, some a little way in, some are way in front, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just finding the right people and the right pieces to get that established. And thankfully for us, we've had all that, and we've had maybe 10, 12 tribes come and inquire about what we're doing, how we did it, and what we did it to get it started. And
that's awesome. That really is that you're able to help someone, get to the next level. Pull them up behind you.
We also assist private entities too. What was the one we helped with the Tahlequah?
Oh,
really?
We have a lot of partnerships with the TNC, the Nature Conservancy, and every year we'll go to Tahlequah and help them burn 15 to 2,000 acres, of their preserve that they have there, and they come here and they help us too. We had a prescribed burn workshop here, and they came and presented to the tribe, and they were like, "Well, we didn't know you were working with fire management." I was like, "Well, yeah, we've been kind of back and forth. It's not really we haven't really put it out there, because it's just what we do. It's our work.
You're doing your job.
Yeah, yeah. It's
you're not in the not every program has a PR department.
Yeah. So
maybe we should work on that. No.
Yeah, we have a lot of MOUs and stuff with different entities, and like we the past 3 years we would go and burn at Tinker and help them with their burning over there.
And I would assume that was something that you guys can learn from as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have crews that come from out of state. There were hot shots there, people from Arizona, and then even there was a 4-star general there when we were burning.
Wow.
So he came and seen what we were doing, and he recognized that we were from the tribe, and that we got a good program.
Yeah. Well, there's thank you all so much for bringing all this info. And I just realized we kept throwing a MOU.
Mm-hmm.
What is MOU?
Memorandum of Understanding.
Thank you. Is it memorandum?
Yeah, memorandum of understanding.
Of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And I threw that out. Even I threw that out, but I never mentioned what it was. It's basically like an agreement between two entities. It's like, hey, I'll help you out, and you do the same.
Yeah, good neighbor policy.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Well, before I don't want to wrap it up. I don't want to leave you meat on the bone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before we go, is there anything that I missed that you guys, something new that you guys want to make sure that we put info out?
We also take out camp crews too during the fire season. That they have these big old fire camps out west or up north. We'll take a 10-person crew out.
Explain what's the fire camp.
We go out there to the camp and take care of ice, food, water, help out with the food camp, count people, how many firefighters are there.
Oh, okay. Guys who are actually out on a fire.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Pick up trash, yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
So we're there to support them, but we'll take out a 10-man crew. We went out to Montana last year for 21 days. So, but yeah, that's also what we do.
And you mentioned hot shots. Those are the people who from the hot shots are what?
They're a Type 1 IHC crew, which is their fight.
Throw me all that. Tell me what Type 1 and IHC is.
Type 1 is it's kind of the top.
Okay.
And they fight fire with fire.
And what's IHC?
They're kind of like the Navy SEALs of fire.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere. So that's who hot shots are.
Yeah.
Okay. And I thought that's what that was. But that term has been around a long time. It's basically, I guess those are the Navy SEALs of the fire. They're the ones that you want on the front lines of a big grass fire.
They're the ones
forest fire. Right?
They're the first ones on the front line on a major incident. Okay. They'll be the first ones, and then everybody else will come in after that.
Okay.
And we had a crew member that worked with us last year. He had went to a hot shot crew, and that's where he's currently at right now. And that's another thing that our program promotes is you don't have to stay here and work, your whole career. You can go anywhere. We have connections to where you can go to the Navajo shots, the Fort Apache, or the Geronimo, because every year they call and ask if we have people to fill in, and there's just a limited amount of us, and it's like, we can't go, so we find people to take that place for one detail, and the detail can last 14 to 21 or even the whole summer if you want to. So it's kind of what you want to do.
And if you're good, you get on a TV series, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Get on a podcast.
What's that series called? I've watched it before.
But yeah, we
you know what I'm talking about. Oh, I when my wife watches every now and then. Anyway, okay, let's not digress here.
Yes.
Talking about Fire Country.
Yeah, that's what it is, Fire Country. Well, how cool is it that there's a show like that?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
and that it could very well be that you guys might get some phone calls. Say, hey, I was interested in kind of what you got. I mean, you never know.
We get a lot of interest, and it's kind of a lot of stuff to get introduced into it. You got your physicals and your classes and everything. But another thing that we do is promote fire educationally through college, because I went through a program from the Salish Kootenai College, which allowed me to go to...
That is in
Montana.
Thank you.
Yeah. I went through that program, and I was stationed in Peach Springs for a summer, and then I went to fires down south of, anywhere. They put you anywhere there's a BIA or a tribal fire. And that's what our AFMO Phillip is going through right now in that same program. So that when we go to these outreach events, that's what we'll provide information like, hey, you can go out of state and do stuff. You don't have to be necessarily here all the time. But if you want to come here, we'll help you get out and, go whatever place you want to go. All
right. Well, now I think I've got it all down. Be a pop quiz tomorrow, right? Man, I used to hate those in high school.
No doubt.
Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming here and helping us get all this great info out. And if no one else tells you, hey, I appreciate what you guys do, and let our other folks know who could make it today. And so with that, I will wrap this up and thank folks, our audience here. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. I want to tell you guys ha ho to you, and we will see you next time. All right.
Thank you.